We all think we know our numbers. We check our bank app, see a positive balance, and think I'm doing okay. But 30 days ago, I decided to stop guessing. I tracked every single cent from my rent down to a 50-cent pack of gum, and what I found wasn't just a spending problem. It was a psychological one. It was a fascinating, sometimes painful journey into my own habits and priorities. Today, I'm breaking down the raw data, the ghost expenses I uncovered, and why my relationship with money has permanently changed. For years, I operated on a vibe. You get paid, you pay your rent, your car note, you put some money into savings, and then you just kind of live. You tell yourself you're being responsible, but are you? That little voice in the back of my head kept asking, where does it all go? It felt like I was working hard, but my financial goals were always just a little bit further away than they should be. So I made a pact with myself. For one full month, I would become a financial detective, and my own spending was the prime suspect. Every single transaction, no matter how small, would be recorded and scrutinized. It wasn't about punishing myself. It was about finally getting the truth. First, let's talk about the how. This part is crucial because if the system is too complicated, you'll quit. I've tried this before and failed within days because my method was a mess. This time, I kept it simple. I used a straightforward spreadsheet, but you can use any note-taking or budgeting app you like. The rules were simple. If money left my pocket, it went on the list immediately. I didn't wait until the end of the day because you will forget that coffee you bought. You will forget that parking meter. Trust me, I divided everything into four main buckets. First, fixed needs. These are the non-negotiables that cost the same every month. Rent, car insurance, subscription services I actually use. Second, variable needs. This is stuff like groceries, gas for the car, and utilities. They're needs, but the amount can change. Third, pure wants. This is the fun bucket, dining out, new clothes, entertainment, hobbies. And finally, the fourth bucket, which I called the void. This was for all those miscellaneous costs that usually disappear into the background: the delivery fees, the random Amazon purchase for something you didn't know you needed, the convenience store snack. This is where the magic and the horror happens. Setting it up this way forced me to categorize every purchase and ask, was this a need or a want? About 15 days in, I hit the ouch phase. This is when you have enough data to see patterns, and frankly, some of those patterns are ugly. I discovered I was paying a massive convenience tax. I am talking about $7 delivery fees for a $12 sandwich because I was too lazy to drive 5 minutes, or paying for express shipping on something I didn't even need. Right away, when you see it as a one-off charge, your brain dismisses it. It's just $5, you say, but when you see a monthly total of $180 just in delivery fees, it hits differently. That's a car payment. That's a significant investment into a retirement account. That's a plane ticket. These are the ghost expenses. They are invisible in the moment but haunt your bank account at the end of the month. This is where most people's missing savings are hiding. It's not in one big, irresponsible purchase. It's in 1,000 tiny, thoughtless ones. Something strange and unexpected happened in week 3. I started to notice a shift in my behavior. I stopped wanting to buy things. Now, it wasn't because I suddenly became a minimalist monk, and it wasn't because I didn't have the money. It was because I didn't want to deal with the chore of logging it. Think about that. The simple act of having to open my spreadsheet and type in $4.50 iced latte was enough to make me reconsider the purchase. This is what psychologists call the friction effect. By forcing myself to track it, I created a tiny, but effective, barrier between my impulse and my wallet. It gave me a moment of pause. The question in my head changed from, do I want this? To, do I want this enough to have to log it? I started asking, do I want this item, or do I want to avoid typing this into my spreadsheet? And surprisingly often, it was the latter. This tiny bit of friction was more powerful than any strict budget I had ever tried to impose on myself. So, after 30 days of meticulous tracking, what were the final results? I was way off in my mental estimates. I spent 30% more on food, specifically dining out and delivery, than I thought I did. It was my single biggest budget killer. But on the flip side, I spent 20% less on what I'd call random shopping, things like clothes and electronics. Why? Because the friction effect I mentioned earlier stopped those impulse buys dead in their tracks. The spreadsheet revealed the truth. My spending wasn't aligned with my values. The biggest takeaway for me wasn't about the numbers, though. It was about a concept that's so much more powerful: alignment. Financial freedom isn't about restriction. It's not about telling yourself no all the time. It's about alignment. It is about making sure your money is flowing toward the things that genuinely make your life better and align with your long term goals. I realized I was spending hundreds of dollars on things that brought me fleeting, momentary convenience but didn't actually bring me joy, all while neglecting the goals like my travel fund or my Roth IRA that actually matter to me deep down. This exercise wasn't about making me feel guilty. It was about giving me the clarity to make better choices moving forward. So now I have a challenge for you. I'm challenging you to do this for just 14 days. 30 days is a big commitment, but 2 weeks is manageable for anyone, and it's enough time to get a real snapshot of your habits. This might just change your relationship with money forever. If this video helped you look at your finances differently or gave you an idea to try, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know and tells me to make more content like this. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.